devices with more data around the clock in ubiquitous locations. So that's a good thing, right? And at Dell, we are focused on ensuring that commercial users can be as productive as they can be, and end users are happy with the sort of device and environment they live in. But we have to do that in a way that is responsible with respect to security and management and so on. So, if you look at more data on the edge, more users using devices connected to the network outside the firewall and so on, the breaches that can be introduced through modern attacks, whether it's advanced malware or things like watering hole attacks or spear phishing and things like that, become a concern because most modern breaches are happening outside the firewall on someone who's at the edge, if you will. So our approach here is sort of three-pronged. The first would be, for a company-issued device, we believe that multi-factor authentication is important because you want to know who's on your network and what device is on your network. So we provide multi-factor authentication with the highest level of TPM certification with FIPS of anyone in our competitive set. So that's number one. Second is, we believe that you need advanced malware protection. So beyond just core AV or core anti-malware, you need to be able to protect users from malicious code. And what I mean by that is, if a user clicks on an attachment or clicks on a link that they believe to be safe, there's an opportunity for malicious code to be introduced to the device and ultimately the network. So we ship a product called Dell Data Protection Protected Workspace that essentially introduces a container onto the device so that if any user at the edge clicks on a link or an attachment, that all of that code is executed inside of a container and protects the device and the network. And that's available across all form factors, whether it's a tablet or a workstation or a rugged notebook. And then finally, data protection is probably the most important of the three for intellectual property, for regulatory compliance, for legal protection. So we have a product called Dell Data Protection Encryption, which is a file-level encryption software program that we acquired just about 2 years ago. And it's a company called Credent. It gives us intellectual property that allows you to encrypt the file. And why that's important is people save files to the cloud, people send files to consumer devices, people send files to their Gmail account, and as soon as the file leaves the device, it's in jeopardy. So with file-level encryption, the file stays encrypted, and a unique key is issued every time that file is opened, which protects you, from these events. The other cool thing about it is if you had BYOD in your environment and you allowed a user or an employee to use their own device to use company files, you can encrypt them with keys that you control. So should they ever leave the company or they quit or something like that, then you avoid a Snowden incident and they don't walk out of your building with a bunch of unencrypted files. Those files are now bricked on their system and they can't access them. So with advanced malware protection, with multi-factor authentication, and with file-level encryption, we believe that gives you an added level of security that can enhance not only the productivity of mobile devices connected everywhere, but allow that to happen in a safe way.
Mm-hmm. So the risks associated with BYOD have been solved?
I think it's tough to say they've been solved, but we certainly have, I think, taken a step toward reducing some of the risks. So again, if you're trying to protect files or intellectual property that is your own, that requires some level of encryption. So if someone has a company file on Dropbox or on their personal device or somewhere outside the firewall, this allows you to protect it in a compliant way so that should you be subpoenaed or have to go to court, you can prove that you had protected the data in a responsible way.
Mm-hmm. Thanks so much, Kirk.
Thank you.
Thanks for your insight.